Hello everyone, Quinn here, and just I had to reshoot a video. I was getting a very strong wind, so probably mean I was doing or saying something I wasn't supposed to do in the video, so that's why I'm reshooting here. But yeah, I want to tell you a story about my spiritual journey. How it got started, what I walked into. Things that. I went through, and hopefully it helps some people out because we all have experiences, and I'm sharing mine, of course, in the hopes that might help out somebody else who needs it. But the reason I'm making this video now is you should be very careful, who you share a certain type of information with, and I'll tell you some not so great experiences. Not to look back or talk bad about any of those people, but just to have you make sure that when you engage in conversation with someone, you're not just taking away time. You're taking away precious energy, and especially with everything that's going on right now, you have to protect your energy at all costs. Because energy is even more precious than time. Sure, you can get back more time, and you can always, find a way to elevate your spiritual, your physical, and your mental vibrations to get more energy. But it depending on the type of people you choose to let into your life, that can make or break a person, really. And wow, with all the stuff I've experienced with people, I honestly tell you, I shouldn't be here right now, but I am. And my purpose, my spiritual, my gut, my heart purpose is to share this information, with the young and the old, to not to tell you what you should or should not do, but just to be aware. Just be aware, because you can save so much time and energy, if you know yourself and set your boundaries. But you should really be careful who you share information with, and I'll tell you why. It's so many stories I can tell you about. All right, but the first one is, of course, I'm a cultural diverse guy, as I said in my last video, and Western society, and especially the ones ruled by European descendants, their history, their cultural wealth, and amongst other forms of wealth, have always been gained by thievery, by deception, by thievery, lies, deceit, scheming on one another. And I'm a free guy. If you talk to me, I'll happily share information, with anyone, no matter where they're from, no matter where their religiously, spiritual, cultural, geographical background. That really doesn't matter to me. What does matter, however, is how you choose to come with me or come at me, asking that particular information. Because wow, where do I begin? All right, so the first time, all right, there was this girl I liked, right, on Instagram. We started talking, and she started asking me questions, but it weren't like regular questions, all right? When you type, of course, when you type something in versus actually, saying it with your words, it's very hard to discover intent, because typed words, when you look at them on the screen, you can take them any which way you want, which is why, of course, I use voice messages, because when you use voice messages, you really get to hear my intent, because often or not, my intent is not really malicious, but, depending on how you write it or how you perceive it, that can sometimes be looked at it that way. I was looking for a pen because sometimes you have so many things you want to discuss, but you just can't. You can't get there. But yeah, you should be very careful who you share information with, because she started asking me questions, but I felt like I was being forcefully interviewed into divulging information to her. And you got to understand from a historical background that a lot of European descendant people have elevated themselves, culturally, spiritually, and economically by stealing, unwillingly from other cultures and other cultural beings around the globe to elevate themselves, because the truth is that if you look back at history, that whether you do Catholicism or any other form that involves that is not Europeans' original religion. They had the pagan before, and they were very rich, culturally. Whether you believe in the fairies or the golems, all these other forms of spirituality. That's entirely up to you. But that is their original way of making sense of the spiritual aspect of this beautiful planet that is around us. But of course, they sacrificed that for whatever reason. That it's been like this for a while. And cultivated that, and I can get into the Spanish Inquisition or the Crusades and a lot of horrible things that have happened. But it has been historically known, and I can talk about Elvis Presley all day, and I like his music. But yeah, once you know the truth that a lot of European descendants have just flat out stolen, without giving praise to the original creators or the original keepers of that particular cultural, whether it be sound, whether it be cinema, whether it be any form of culturally influential forms of entertainment that we all consume today. But getting back to that particular girl, I felt like, look, I don't mind sharing, but just don't come at me like that. I was feeling uncomfortable. Not only was I feeling uncomfortable, but it almost felt like, I have no other word to say it. It felt like a spiritual violation. It's like, look, you're crossing a particular energetic boundary to get something from me that you want, that I have, that you could also have, but you're practically too lazy or too afraid to get on your own. Because the knowledge is out there for everyone to seek, for everyone to find. All right? You just need to get off your ass and take the risk and start looking. Not to be mean or anything, or to to downplay people, but that was genuinely how I felt at the time, and so I'm saying this to express what I felt at the time. So without any further ado, I just decided not to get into it, and just ignored her. But I found particularly a lot of European descendants really come at you like this. And when I traveled, there was an Australian guy who really, you could tell, like, he wanted something from me, and really energetically pushing to suck out the information out of you. And but with her, I was aware. But with the Australian guy, and again, this is not to downplay any Australian people. I've met a lot of you. You guys are the shit. I don't know anyone else to say it, but there are particular people out there. But this particular Australian dude, he was really getting under my skin. And of course, look, at that time I was just a free spirit, and I was just happily talking to anyone. Wow, someone's having a really bad time over there. I'm sure it's all right, and if it's not, I'm not gonna check anyway because hey, I'm working. Oh. Yeah, that's a young little T-Rex out there. uh, uh, should I check? Should we check? I don't know. I'm not gonna check, but you see anything? Probably not. You see a lot of buildings. But yeah, this particular guy really, yeah, he really got under my skin. But I was sharing information, freely at that time. So I really didn't pay it much mind. But afterwards, yeah, I really felt uncomfortable because we should, as human beings, just be able to have these conversations freely, and not have to resort to any energetic, verbal, or mental trickery or manipulation, to learn from one another. But it's with most Western European descendant societies, that is their way because that is how they've always done it. That is how they've advanced by manipulation in any form and trickery and deceit. But I wasn't aware of that at that time, and I was aware of it with the girl, but I wasn't aware of it with that particular Australian guy. But now here is the part where here's where it's gonna get a bit dark. All right, so I got into a relationship with a girl, and I had been through some things, and she had been through some things, and we all go through things, when we just have different way of looking at it. But that's a whole other story right there. I'm just gonna keep it focused on the information aspect of this, but it's definitely gonna be a video talking about that as well. And yeah. So I got into a relationship with this girl, and she had knowledge about spirituality as well, and I had knowledge about my own form of spirituality as well. My thing is, I was the internal spiritual master at the time, and she really delved into the external part of spirituality. Also a very interesting part, but we really thought at least, and that I'm saying we right now, but yeah, it's I can't speak for anyone else, so we're going to take that back. And I really saw a future with this particular girl, but I started to notice particular mannerisms about her that I had seen before. I'd seen that it with the girl in the beginning of this story, and I've seen it with the Australian dude themselves, and really I started having a conversation with her, and I'm not going to be too detailed on this, because you got to let the past be the past, and the only reason I'm really telling this is because, for, especially my non-European friends out there, to be aware that, look, not all European descendants are bad, but, you just got to be aware of certain mannerisms, because, they will, if you allow them, get under your skin and do whatever, and you really got to protect your own energy. So this is really something I make to protect thyself, from unwanted energies that only seek to enter your beautiful temple, which is your body, your mind, and your spirit, to steal from you. But this particular girl that I was in a relationship with, all right, we got into an argument, and she was the only one who ever succeeded in getting that particular information out of my temple, is because I allowed her to get too close, and she broke me spiritually emotionally. Um, had I not broken up with her shortly after, it probably would have been physical as well. Make no mistake, men. There's always some females out there that you got to watch out for, especially when it comes to physical. But getting back to that, so she broke me spiritually and emotionally to try and get information out of me, and ultimately, I let her get too close, and that's why. I learned a lot from that experience. But when I confronted her about that and why she did that. It's like, hey, look, you could have gotten that information out of me, in a nicer way. Like, you didn't have to hurt me or break me like that. I would have been able to give that information freely. And she replied, and this is how. Now you get a real taste of how European descendants behave in the future. Her reply was, "Everyone manipulates in their own way." And I'm not gonna lie, I went off, and I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but I called her every bad name in the book, and I called her the worst of things, because how dare you violate, a certain boundary and not even have remorse, for breaking someone in that way. And then, of course, I realized, that, she wasn't really after love, spirituality, when done the right way, is supposed to be about love. But, this particular woman wasn't seeking love. She was seeking power. And, a lot of European descendant people, they just seek power. They don't seek love. They don't seek to connect with you. They don't engage with you to share information willingly or freely with one another. They just rather break you and take it by force, because their mindset is really all about conquering at all costs, and if you don't give it to them freely, they'll do anything to take it by force. And with this particular girl, that was a whole incident altogether, and I'm definitely going to make another video about this. But after that's done, however, I became, even though I'm not happy about what had happened or how it turned out, I really learned a lot from this particular girl. And because when someone else came along, all right, her name is Shannon. I'm not going to even mention her last name. But, when she came along and tried to do the same thing, that was a girl, I really spiritually felt connected with her, but she brushed that off, even though she felt the same way. But it was like a bit of, manipulation and emotional immaturity going on, which again is a whole other video put together. But it's definitely something that has been addressed. And because this particular girl, this Shannon individual, I remember she took a photo of a quote that I made, and just took that particular photo off my page, put it on hers, and didn't even mention where she got it from. That's the least you could do, when you're taking somebody else's shit, is really just, hey, acknowledge where you got it from. Like, hey, I got this particular quote from this person, or hey, I got this particular idea from this person. But honestly, that's not how European descendants operate. It just isn't. So I've since been very careful about who I let into my circle, because if it's not done freely and openly and out of love, you will not enter my boundary. You will not cross my boundaries and get anything by force. Because let's be honest. If you have to break something to get a particular form of knowledge, just because you're unwilling to go to the struggle, or you're unable to put yourself in someone else's shoes and really have that compassion, then there's nothing wrong with protecting your temple, which is your body, mind, and spirit. But on the other hand, though, and this is where I gotta give praise to my African descendants and South American descendants, because I gave you a lot of bad examples, but I'll give you a right one as well. That I was at the art academy, right, and there were two guys, one African descendant and one South American descendant person, and they really sat there and listened because they wanted to get into the art academy, and I gave them. Hey, I put it out there. It's like, hey, it's not going to be easy. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to watch out for. You got to be open. If you hold on to, what you think or how you think you should go about it, you're probably not going to succeed because it really requires you to let go. And I talked with them for like at least 2.5 hours. And afterwards, you know what they said, and this is the right way to do it. They told me, "Thank you." Thank you for sharing that information, because not everyone else would do that. You see, this is how it can be done the right way. I'm always a guy. I'm always going to be happy to help out, and the reason I do this channel also is because hey, I want to help people. I have a certain amount of experience. I'm no I don't consider myself a guru. I don't consider myself anything really. But hey, if I have experiences and I can help someone out with that, and it helps each other, and that's a more fulfilling purpose than anything. But I'm a type of person also, and I've had to learn that. To know myself, so I can set my boundaries and say like, hey, it doesn't matter where you come from. But who you are matters depending on how you come to me, because honestly, if you don't come correct, don't come at all. I just much rather have you stay away from me. If you cannot approach me with a certain level of mutual respect, no matter what the status is, no matter what your like I said, all your backgrounds, doesn't matter how much money you got. Like, look, we can all learn from each other. That's the best way to do it. But like I said, it's a bit of a longsy. But just be careful. And look, I've said a lot of things about European descendants as well. Look, this is not to bash any of you guys or girls. Really, it's not. But there have been so many instances where your ancestral background has gotten away with a lot of nasty mannerisms of doing things, and really that has to change. I'm not saying this to bash any of you. Absolutely, like I said, we have to break these barriers that have been placed on us, but in order to break these barriers, we have to address certain things. Have I always been correct? No. But have I always tried to be? Yes. I did. And if we want to move forward together, the least we can do, the very least we can do is ask the same of each other, And again, I have to say this, there's not to bash any European descendant people out there. Like, and I'm sure after this video, you might feel a certain type of way, and probably justifiably so. But I'm just giving you, the experiences that I've had. Some of them have shaped me. Some of them damn near broke me. Because, hey, if it's not done with love, then, what's the point? But that's a whole other video together. But again, it's not to bash any of my brothers and sisters that are European descendant, but we have to address that, these mannerisms, how they've been done in the past, it's not going to be tolerated, and definitely not by other cultures. If you go into someone else's culture, if you're going there, hey, treat them with the same respect, because you ask other people from other countries when they come to yours to to give a certain level of respect and love and admiration, well, the least you can do is do the same. And in order for us to do that, we have to address these particular issues. It's all love here, so don't worry about it. And for many particular reasons, I'm not putting on the comment section. Because anything people sometimes can do to shoot negativity at you, they're going to take advantage of that, and to prevent that, not just to protect, future followers, to protect my future family, but also to protect my temple, my energy. You got to keep that comment section off. I hope in the future, I'll be able to, put the comment section back on and, just comment away, good or bad. But, not everyone has the same intent. But that's a story for another time, man. I've been going at it way too long, and I've got a lot more videos to make and a lot more to post. But, thank you all for being here. It took us a while, but, yeah. We're here, and the future looks very bright. Honestly, I still believe that. That's not because of coffee. That's not because of pre-workout. It's not because of any other any energetic stimulants. Because honestly, the real source of your energy is always right here. All right, it's always right here. So home is where the heart is, and the heart is the source of it all. So follow that always, and namaste, my brothers and sisters.